Welcome to an all-new Behind the Box. I'm Robbie Biscoff. We also have Rafael Rivera.
Hola.
And Nick Townsend.
What's up?
Sons of Anarchy final season is underway. We're going to have some news on that in our What We're Watching segment. Plus Minority Report, the TV show. Nick will have those details. But first, I want to talk a little something about these guys. Anybody know who these guys are?
The Griswolds.
Yes, the Griswolds. And from what famous movie is that?
Is it Star Wars?
No.
No.
Star Trek?
Yeah, I think it was Star Trek.
World Trek.
Yeah.
National Lampoons Vacation.
Oh,
That was my next choice.
yeah.
So the reason why I'm putting them up there is they're getting ready to they actually started filming a new vacation movie, which kind of came out of nowhere for me. I had no idea this was going on, and I should be on top of it with Behind the Box, you know.
You should be.
Yeah.
It kind of slipped, and I didn't know. So this movie is actually going to be based more on the kids than the adults this time around. So, you know, Dana Barron played Audrey Griswold, the younger daughter. Well, in the new movie, she's going to be played by Leslie Mann, an all-grown-up version. And guess who's playing the brother, Rusty? Anybody know? It'll surprise you. Ed Helms. It's weird to see him as the new Rusty Griswold.
But
I think he can pull it off.
Did you guys see that movie Cedar Rapids a while back?
No, I did not.
So it was like Ed Helms played this salesman, and he was there with John C. Reilly, who was like this crazy salesman. They went on like a business retreat, and like Ed Helms was all reserved at the beginning, but he kind of came out of his shell. I could see him working really well in that, you know, Clark Griswold's son role. Not necessarily like the Rusty Griswold is such a great role.
You know, and he's grown up now, so he could be a lot more like his dad.
But right,
in this
so I could
movie,
see that baton. And I mean, if you've seen The Office, you know how goofy.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what we were talking about that last week. But the biggest question everybody has though is, what about the originals? Are we going to see anybody back? Well, news has it that both Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo will reprise their roles in the new Vacation movie. Nobody knows to the extent. I think pretty much they're saying it might just be a cameo, so we might see them maybe toward the end of the movie. Who knows, you know?
I think just to make it National Lampoon Anything Vacation, they kind of had to put.
Yeah, they got to be in there at some point. But they're looking at this movie as more of a passing the torch thing, so it's going to move to the younger generation, and I guess they're wanting to like start a whole new chain of movies for the National Lampoon's Vacation thing. But I'm kind of excited and stoked to see it, and hopefully it'll be a good movie when it comes out. I think all the vacation movies, to a certain extent, have been funny.
I think since Chevy Chase they're going to be, you know, playing cameos in there. I think Chevy Chase should do multiple cameos. You know how he does characters, you know, in most movies, and remember Fletch and all those. He's dressing up, and I'd think it'd be just. I mean, it's required to have him in that movie if they're going to reboot it.
I got one more question for you guys. Do you know where they're going in this movie?
I hope they're going back to Wally World.
They are going back to Wally World.
Going back to Wally World.
Yes.
That's how that song goes.
So yeah, no, I don't think it's that. I don't think you're anywhere close on that one.
Yeah, it was written for this
LL
movie.
Cool J wouldn't like you on that
It
one.
was written for this movie.
Oh, you're talking about Holiday Road.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about going back to Cali. I was
Yeah,
like,
it's the same song.
No, they're not.
Oh no.
Totally different song.
He's really drunk.
I'm joshing.
But anyway, so we're going to move on from the vacation movie to our next story, which is Doctor Strange and Raphael. I believe you got them for me.
Oh man. You know.
All right.
You know how I like Marvel, comic book heroes and stuff. It's my favorite.
Oh, really? I did not
T
know
looks
that.
like a C.
So they don't really know who's going to be playing Doctor Strange. I think Joaquin Phoenix was the last person cast in it, amongst others, but they haven't really announced the key role. A couple things that are interesting. They're starting to shoot, I think, in 2016 at the same studios they're shooting Star Wars.
Ooh.
So really quick about it. I know it's going to be like in the distant future, but you know it's going to be the next movie following the latest Marvel movie that they're shooting, which is Ant-Man. So after they're done with Ant-Man and release and everything like that, they're going to start working on Doctor Strange.
Man, they've got a whole line of movies that they're...
Is this
I think you just
before
keep going
Avengers?
and going and going. A Doctor Strange story? I think so. I don't know the plot or anything like that, but as far as those details go, they're soon to come. So, but you know, let's look out for more Marvel movies.
No casting news or anything quite yet?
The only thing I saw was the latest Joaquin Phoenix was the last person cast, the most notable.
I just feel like they're looking for a strange actor instead of an actor to play Doctor Strange. If they're looking at Joaquin Phoenix, I don't know.
Maybe Steve Carell can pull it off.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, Ben Kingsley, I think, did a good job with the Mandarin. Like, I liked how they kind of treated that character, and they talked about bringing that back in Iron Man 3. He was in that. It was kind of a joke character. So I would like to see, because Doctor Strange kind of moves into the magic part. Like, the recent Marvel reboot and franchise has all been based in the reality. But now that they've kind of brought in these other alien races, I think they'll probably use some of that to explain some of. But really, Doctor Strange had like magical powers, so it'll be interesting to see where they go with that. Definitely,
Really cool.
Sweet.
I'm excited.
And this is an image from Minority Report, the movie, but it's going to be a TV series now?
Yeah. So I guess I only read a short thing about it, but it interests me because this movie came out 2004, I believe it was. Have either of y'all seen it?
No.
The
Come
movie
on.
Minority Report? Yes. Love
Yeah.
that movie.
Yeah. Okay.
If it's a movie and it's in the last 5 or 6 years, most likely mine's going to be like a 10% chance that I've seen it. So.
That was 10 years ago, but
Oh, well,
Well,
it's
do we
maybe
need
a
to tell the
20%
story?
chance that I've seen
Like
it.
at least
there.
the plot.
yeah. Well, we can talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
So not to give anything away if you haven't seen it, because it is a great movie. But basically, Tom Cruise is a detective who works for a pre-crime division, I guess it would be called.
Right.
So they arrest people before they have these psychics who can see murders before they happen if they're premeditated, and then they
Oh.
use that knowledge to kind of on that monitor right there. He scrubs through the whole memory and figures out, and then they go arrest the person like right before they actually.
Oh,
commit
cool.
the
I was
murder.
wondering what that was because I have no idea.
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
what that is that's like her vision of it, and he is using this like cool touch screen, like touch the air or whatever.
It's got
crazy
some gloves and he's
yeah.
moving the screens around and
just to
scrubbing
kinda-
through it and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and-
zoom in, like kind of build through. But so the TV show takes place after the movie, and pre-crime has been dissolved because.
Right.
you know,
I was going
like,
to ask you that, like, because they just ended.
Right. So they ended all that. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see, because that was the most interesting part I thought about the movie was that pre-crime division. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that world as it progresses. You know, because you still have like cool, like the highway system was really cool. They had like these cars that were kind of stuck to the highway and they could turn sideways and you'd just be like sitting in it, but you'd be riding up a building going sideways kind of a thing. It would flip around.
I
And,
think the whole world in that movie is amazing, just technology-wise. So if it's coming after that, then
yeah.
you know, I
What,
can't wait to
like,
see
now,
what
what
is
network
the-
is doing this?
I think it's one of the major
Oh, okay.
networks, but I'm not sure who's picked it up, if anybody. But I know they've got like kind of synopsis out there.
So it's
what
still
they
a
wanna
long
do.
way off, probably,
Yeah,
from
it's-
seeing the light of day.
Yeah, it's a good way off. But
Well, I guess I should check out the movie in the meantime. That way, I'll understand the TV show. Because
I
I'll
have
probably
it.
watch the show. So I
I
watch
have
all
it
the show.
on DVD if you want to borrow it.
Well,
still
I
has
still got your
21 Jump
21 Jump Street from the pilot episode, so I guess I better get to watching that before I go any further than that.
I don't think you want to see that movie.
Actually, I do. It's just something. I'm not going to go into my whole explanation of why I don't want to watch movies on the air right now. But I mean, sometimes movies, I just feel like I don't have enough time to like sit there through a 2-hour period. Like I'll throw on a 45-minute television show and then get up and do something else. But
We've
I
talked
will
about
get
it.
to it. I promise. I will get to it. And we will get to our next block coming up next for what we're watching. Final season of Sons of Anarchy next. Welcome back to our What We're Watching segment, and Nick's going to start off with The Edge of Tomorrow. What is that, Nick?
So it's this cool movie that just came out. It just came out on digital release, and then I think like a day later or something it comes out on Blu-ray. But it always gets me when I see that new digital release. I'm like, oh, I like Tom Cruise action sci-fi movies.
Click, download.
Like Minority Report, like we were just talking about.
Isn't this like a futuristic Groundhog Day?
Yeah. So the premise behind it is that he's a soldier in the future in a war against these aliens, and they all have these the human soldiers have these mechanized suits, basically to kind of let them do all these acrobatic moves, and they have extra strength and speed and everything. And he starts out in the movie a really fresh-faced newcomer to the war, but by the end of it, because he's living the same day over and over and over, he gets to be a pretty grizzled veteran, and it's kind of funny. It's actually, I was telling Robbie the other day, I think it's a romantic comedy disguised
That was
as
after
an
the second
action
watch,
sci-fi.
right?
Yeah, it's because I watched it a second time with my brother, and they do really funny things. Like they do really cool things where he's getting better and better, and he knows where the alien's going to be the next day, so he can make a move and slide this way or slide this way. At one point, he like runs around this whole bunker and kills all the aliens in it with all his squad mates just kind of looking around like, what's going on? So they can do cool stuff like that, but there's also times where he messes up. So he's like, okay, I gotta go run around, kill all these aliens in a circle, then I gotta slide over here, I gotta jump over here, then I'm running and there's this truck coming by. So the first time he's just running and the truck takes him out, and then it immediately cuts to him running again, and he runs a little faster and the truck goes behind him. So there's all these
cool.
little jokes
Cool.
like that where, and there's a woman with him who had gone through something similar, Emily Blunt. And so she's kind of training him and helping him through the process. But a lot of it is him watching her die, and that's how he's failing. And then, so they form a relationship, but it still has that, the comedic sense to it. But then also the action thriller. The action scenes are really, really good.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
That might be a movie I will watch and check out.
Yeah, it's entertaining. And
Is it free?
And I watched it. Yeah, I'll let you borrow it. I don't know how I could do that with digital.
I don't think you can.
You might not be able
to. The copyright protection
Yeah.
prevents that.
But yeah, definitely check it out if you like Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt and kind of action comedy.
Well, he does some great.
stuff.
He does great sci-fi.
Right.
Like he's done some pretty good sci-fi movies in the past.
And this one kind of has a different feel to it. At first, going into it, I'm like, oh, it's real serious, like end of the world stuff and time travel. But then they kind of make it a little bit lighter, which is fun.
Well, what about the director? The director's same with the Bourne Identity, and I feel like, did you bring in some of that to the?
Well, definitely the cinematography. I think that's one thing from the Bourne series is that they bring that hard-hitting cinematography, and it really feels like you're inside the action. I think they bring that, but I also think it's if he's coming off of that, this was probably kind of a little bit lighter, just a little bit something they could have a little bit more fun with. But
Well, this definitely isn't on the light side.
oh, look at that!
Just from looking at the graphic, you can tell that Sons of Anarchy, it just began its final season a couple weeks ago on FX, and I'm telling you guys, it is like everything the series has been leading up to, and I'm going to give some spoilers here, and I don't know if you guys... do we have the little spoiler light yet? No, it's not in the budget yet. We don't have that yet. So
you need to kickstart that.
So I do have to give away, because the last season kind of hinges on the finale of the 6th season, which was, throughout the series, the main struggle is the main character, Jax, played by Charlie Hunnam, is really trying to get hold of the club and change the club for good. He wants to legalize it and make it less guns and drugs and that type of stuff, because it's getting people killed and it's getting them into trouble, and he didn't want that. His dad was killed and all that stuff in the past because of it. But like the first 4 seasons was a battle between him and the guy who was in charge. And when he finally gets to the throne, he realizes that he has to do bad shit to kind of go through with everything so his character's been growing dark throughout each year of the season, and the only thing that was kind of holding him back was his wife, or was his girlfriend when the show began, but it was his wife. She wanted to get the kids and the family out of the club's way and all that. And the end of the 6th season, there was this whole misunderstanding where the Katie Sagal character, who is Jax's mother, thought that she was going to rat to the cops about stuff with the club, but she wasn't. They had already arranged the deal that she was part of with the club, but the character didn't know it, so she murdered her at the end of the season, murdered the guy's wife, her son's wife, at the end of the season. She's led him to believe that it was like the Chinese gangs in this.
Oh, wow.
So now he's got the whole club this season raging war on the different groups of people he thinks are responsible for killing his wife. Oh. So it's just everything he's tried to do his whole life is just going downhill now in a hurry. And it's a dark, dark season of the show. Have you seen any of the show at all?
My brother's real into this, and I watched. I kind of see like parts of it. He was marathoning it the other day, and what I saw was Jax's mom had just like driven drunk with the two kids in the car and got in an accident, and and his wife was just like, "You're done. You're never gonna see the kids anymore." So I'm thinking that's kind of where.
Well, and there's always been tension between her and the Katie Sagal character because she always thinks she's going to take the family away and she doesn't want that, and it's just kind of it came to a head, But like I said, the whole thing was a misunderstanding, and that's what makes it so painful now is because the Katie Sagal character, the mother, she's like in hell now because she knows what she did and she can't get over it and what it's causing Jax to do, but she won't tell the truth for her own selfishness. Because she knows her son will probably kill her if he finds out. So, I mean, that's, but it's such a good show. And like I tell you guys, it's also on Netflix. So, if you want to catch up on the seasons, it starts out very slow in the first, season or two to establish the characters and everything. But it really does develop into a much better show as it goes along. What are you laughing at me about?
I just thought about in the first season they're just riding mopeds. They're going real slow. They got training wheels and stuff.
No, not that, not literally slower, but it's just the character development and some of the plot lines are kind of you don't want to. It doesn't keep you hooked, until you get to the middle of the second season.
I think that's what happened to me. I got unhooked because of that in the beginning.
Well, third season and on, it's crazy. It just gets better and better each year. Yeah. So, but it's good on Netflix. Definitely check it out. Final season on FX right now. Nice. And our final thing, we're going to go way back in time for this one. Raphael, what's up?
Yeah. Well, all this hype with the new Star Wars in production, and I just went on Facebook and searched for Mark Hamill's page, and he's constantly posting behind the scenes footage of New Hope, different things that he's done, and just a lot of old nostalgic Star Wars stuff just been popping up. So as a result, I had a whole weekend.
Had to break out those Blu-rays or DVDs.
Yeah, exactly. I broke them out. I put the kids in Star Wars clothes.
Oh no!
And we watched Star Wars, and it was great.
Okay.
Really great. And
did you dress up as well?
No, I didn't dress up, but I did have a lightsaber, and the kids like that. So.
Oh, cool.
But just you're six movies in, educate your kids and tell them how great these movies are, because even though there's new ones coming out, don't forget where it all started, back in 70. If I'm wrong, I might get an email, but 75. The year before, yeah.
I don't know.
Did you watch the first? Episode 1, 2, and 3?
No, I just went to.
You just bypassed.
I started with I started with the older ones, because that's just the way I like to watch them in that order, just the order,
right.
Just because.
But I still think that the original 3 hold up better than the new ones.
Yeah, a lot of people will say that
because of the practical effects and stuff, and even the ones that were remastered. Remember when they came out with the special editions and they kind of added some stuff? Mm-hmm. That stuff looks bad because it's not.
I can point out every frame that's just not from the original.
Of
course,
really
Han shot first.
Yeah. But did you really need that extra alien walking by in the background or something like
but
that?
you know how they had a lot of model ships and a lot of
right. I think
small
that
models.
Stuff
They're bringing that back.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
And the newer versions, so. That
I've never seen the special edition ones. I've only seen the original ones. I've never seen the ones that they added all the funky stuff to.
When was the last time you watched it? Because they did that on VHS.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I think when they put the ones on the Blu-ray and DVD and stuff, they didn't do those. I think they put the original ones.
No, they put the special
edition. They did put the
edition.
new ones.
Yeah.
I guess I have watched it.
Because George Lucas is this is the way I always wanted it to be. If I could have done
well,
it.
I was wrong about that. Well, I guess I didn't
billions
notice.
of dollars.
Yeah.
But I've never seen the originals then, if that's the case. Because the first ones I ever got were the VHSs, where they came out in the silver and gold packaging.
Yeah,
for
see the
those.
gold, when it was the gold, that was the special edition one.
Oh, okay,
There was
gotcha.
just a plain box one that I had, the original one.
Oh, okay.
So, beyond, get online, they're already leaking pictures of Millennium, like full-size Millennium Falcon and X-wings. You know, I think they did like an aerial view of a partially built Falcon and all that. It was just amazing. So there's gonna be everything leading up to the movie release. There's so much hype, so much behind-the-scenes stuff. Just, I think I might cry when it comes out again.
And we'll be here for
Wait,
you.
again? Like, because you cried the first time?
Well, you know, I cried when they brought him back with 3 more movies. You know, it was like
When
episode 1, it goes bang. I was
So
like,
you're one of those that like goes crazy in the theater over it? Because I actually saw the first of the
They
newer
go
ones with
crazy.
somebody who was like that, and I was like ducking underneath the seat most of the time. Because he was like screaming out loud during the fight scenes and stuff.
Opening,
and,
well,
no.
I didn't do that, but when the opening credits come up, you know, the whole place just like lit up. They're just
well, I mean, that's
cheering
fun,
and all
you
that.
know.
You know, it's just the only movie.
This
that
guy
I'd
was like
probably do
going, "Oh my God!" You know, and I was just like,
Oh
Sounds
gosh.
like somebody I wouldn't want to go anywhere and do anything with.
no. Well,
Whoa.
I mean, it was just somebody I used to
Whoa.
work with a long
It
time
wasn't
ago.
Raphael, was it?
No, it was not Raphael.
No.
I didn't know Raphael at this time.
I would have been like, it's back, it's back.
And I think that's probably a good place to end this talk right now.
It's Star Wars.
And we'll have Netflix picks coming up next. Welcome back to Behind the Box. We begin our Netflix picks, and we've got an old pick beginning with The Fifth Element. Raphael.
Old pick?
Dude, it's old.
It's not that old.
It's old.
It's real old.
It's
About
old.
Star Wars, that was old.
Well, yeah, but
okay,
still,
yeah.
this is
Like,
old too.
Before I was born old.
Okay, well, they're both old.
You're old.
Anyways, great movie, great director, great actors. Nick, you're next? No. I'm kidding.
Aziz Light.
Are you kidding?
I think it's probably on my top 10 most favorite movies, and my wife and I love this movie. And Robbie, it looks like you have not seen this movie.
Yep, you guessed it. Nope.
I've seen this so many times.
No, I never got to see
We
it.
need to like lock him in a room somewhere
Yeah.
and just
Whoa,
Kinda
whoa, whoa! Where are you
feed
going
him
with that? What are
movies.
you?
Wait,
Okay.
let me ask you this. Have you seen Clockwork Orange?
No.
Okay, good. We're going to do that to him. You know it. They like strap him in this room and he has to watch like crazy movies.
your eyes like
Yeah,
this.
your eyes are like pried open.
We got a feed. We got
It's
a
not gonna make my eyebrows do
IV
funny
in
things.
your arm. We got a bedpan under you. We're just gonna feed you all these
That
movies.
sounds kind of nice.
Dude, we're getting so off subject here. Can we go back to the movie now?
Yeah,
please?
sorry. Bruce Willis plays this ex military guy, and he's specialized in, you know, everything you can imagine.
Like cab driving.
Well, he's a cab driver in the movie, but you know the military comes back to him because there's this dark force about to destroy the planet, and I don't want to give it all away,
Well, no.
but
Gary Oldman.
remind me who
Right.
the radio DJ's actor.
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker's in this as well.
He's ridiculous in this. It's pretty hilarious.
I think he plays his perfect role. Like,
Yeah, I think it kind of
just like he was in Friday was his perfect role.
And in,
this is also
what's that movie? Rush Hour.
yes.
Yeah.
I think he just fills that role really well.
He always annoyed me for some reason.
That's kind of what he's there for. So yeah, he does a good
But
job. with
a little tidbit here, you know the dang it, I keep forgetting all these names. I've seen it 100 times. But the opera singer, the alien
Yeah,
opera
yeah.
singer in this movie, right?
Mhm.
The actress was married to the director.
Oh, okay.
And then during that movie, they had some issues, and then ended up getting divorced. And I think her scene actually got cut short for some drama, and you know, behind the scenes drama, you know. But eventually, Luc Besson married Mila Jovovich,
Oh my God.
who's
That's
also
fun.
in this movie,
That's
who
funny.
plays one of the main
And
characters.
she's been in a few of his movies, right?
Yeah. So, little side drama in there. But anyways, highly recommend it. Yes, it's kind of old, but there's so many scenes in there that just stand alone so well that I would just watch the chase scene. You know, when she falls in the cab and they're just chasing through, and you see the futuristic McDonald's and all that stuff, and it's just
But it's kind of a fun action sci-fi movie. It's
yeah, it's an adventure.
it's
really.
kind of campy, kind of makes fun of itself a little bit.
Yeah, it does, but
it does a good job. Like it's not
Right.
it's not overdone.
Right, it's a really great movie.
It's kind of a cult classic.
Absolutely.
I'll add that to
must
my
own.
14 lists of things to check out. And I know that voice.
Do you?
I know that voice.
Yeah. I kind of stole
yeah.
this from.
He stole this from me
From,
because I just watched
Yeah,
it.
well, I just watched it too. It was
They were
good.
watching it at the same time, and we're like,
Yeah.
I really want to
Same
watch
wavelength.
this. In fact, I might watch it tonight when I go home.
Well, they made another one. That guy who was in that thing. It's a documentary about character actors. So it's like, that guy who was in that thing with that person.
I was going to watch that after that, actually.
Yeah, and I haven't watched it. And now that I've watched this, I kind of want to go back
Yeah.
and watch that one. But so you know what this is about. It's about voice actors. And voice actors are so different than normal actors. They have to invoke that character with only their voice and their personality. So it's not all about creating this sound for this person. You also have to create that whole personality that backs up that sound.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was it kind of got long to me. Like it could
Kind of
have
got
been an
silly
hour.
on a couple of parts.
Yeah.
I guess it's just the director decided to poke fun at the industry at all. But they did make a good point about the fact that these actors are huge and they're paid so well, but they can walk amongst the regular crowd and no one ever even know because they're just the voice.
That's awesome. That is really awesome. Who are some of the people that they go through in this? Like,
Well, the main director is the voice of Bender.
from Futurama.
Right.
Yeah. I have
'Cause
seen that.
everybody knows. Bender.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad you
Yeah,
caught
but
it.
if I name the director, you're not going to really know.
Right. I didn't know
But-
that was the director. That was the director?
He was actually in it.
Because I was like, you can tell that somebody from inside the industry directed it. But they also had like the guy that does Porky Pig on there, and like a bunch of
Even older ones too.
like the lady that does Rocky from Rocky and Bullwinkle. She was a big character
Yeah.
on it, and some new stuff. But it's interesting also because a lot of them do multiple voices in one show.
Now, how does this tell the story? Is it like a documentary, or is it done like a movie? How does
More like a documentary.
It's a documentary.
Okay.
Definitely. It's interviews and accounts of stories and kind of who they are, why they do it, and how they do it, kind of a thing. But it's really interesting. It's kind of a behind-the-scenes look that you close your eyes and watch that, and you'll see all these characters that you know and love, grew up on.
So they do a lot of the voices throughout?
Oh, yeah.
Any
Oh, yeah.
Simpsons in there? No?
Yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah.
do have the Simpsons. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
what's his name?
Bart's in it.
yeah,
She's
the
female.
lady that does.
That's Nancy Cartwright, right?
And
yeah.
is it Hank Azaria?
Hank Azaria does Mo and
Yeah, he's
Chief
in it,
Wiggum, a
too.
couple people like
But
that.
the thing that I really like about it is some of those actors are familiar.
Right.
Like they played smaller roles in some comedies here and there, but they're
Well,
really
like,
are
especially
accomplished
Hank
voice
Azaria.
actors.
I mean, he showed up in a lot of things. He's always been.
But some of the other ones, you could tell it was that guy who was in
Like,
that thing.
It's the guy who was in that thing.
And he
Yeah.
also does that voice
Exactly.
for all those characters that I like.
Exactly.
Which it was cool. It was I mean, like I said, it was 2 hours long, I think. And I think it probably could have been an hour. Well, I got kind of bored with it.
You know what? I
But
think I
what?
stopped watching it and then I picked it up the next day because it was going a little bit longer. Than
Yeah, because I mean, it could have been an hour.
So the
but-
real question is, can you do any voices?
Did you hear my voice? I have one voice that I can do. It's my
He can
voice.
barely do Nick Townsend.
Exactly. Yeah, for me to just get words out of my mouth.
Not
is
even like
struggle.
a Daffy Duck or a bria.
No.
It's really
I know
good.
someone that can do a pretty good Daffy Duck that always brings it out in awkward situations, but
That's not a buzz, is it?
no.
Like, when did I get drunk and do that?
Yeah.
Robbie can do some voices though, right?
No,
know you
not really.
I'm thinking this is where is this going? It's because you have voices that you want to do. Clearly.
No,
You want to do some
So
voices,
what?
Raphael?
Raphael,
No,
can you
because
do any
because
voices?
now I'm embarrassed because you guys think I can do some voices I can't.
Who's that? The Bullwinkle?
Just my, I don't know. My,
You know, we might get sued for doing some of these voices on this show.
That's
So it's time for
Uh,
me to sell you on something. Because you sold me on that. I'm going to sell you on Once Upon a Time.
That's gonna be tough.
Really?
Yeah.
How about you? What, can I sell you on that one?
No, because I like the show.
Oh, okay, awesome.
I got into it.
There's nothing wrong with
I'm
liking
glad
the show.
they released season 3 because I finished all the way to whatever was available on Netflix. But I was a little disappointed on the beginning of season 3, but I want to go back to it and continue the story because it's
Oh, you haven't seen all of season 3?
not all of season 3. No. I just got started with it, but I just got kind of annoyed because
Gets
the Queen.
so good. Gets
strangle
so
her.
good, dude. They completely wrap up like the first 3 seasons midway through the 3rd season and move on to something new. So it's really cool.
Okay.
It's really cool.
Maybe I'll go back.
So it's a major plot twist. I'm not even going to go. It's just 3rd season has a major plot twist midway through it. And it's really cool. It reinvents the show for the most part.
They go to Neverland.
Watch out.
No,
go to
they were in
Neverland.
Neverland in the 3rd season.
Right, in the beginning of 3rd season.
But that doesn't last the whole season.
Don't spoil it.
Well, I'm just saying, but I mean,
You're gonna watch it tonight.
No, I'm not doing that.
No, he's not. That's okay.
I don't know. The whole like fairy tale thing. Like I think it's really interesting, and I think Grimm's fairy tales and other fairy tales, especially like the original versions and the dark versions, are cool. And it's cool to see, other than just cartoons, people,
Yeah, but I don't think you know.
live
Do you know the
action.
premise of the show?
Yeah, it's like all these characters from all these different stories live in kind of this one town or something like that, right?
Well, I mean, when it starts out like that, the whole thing is you don't know whether it's real or fairy tale because what happens is they go into this town, and all these people aren't these characters. They're just regular people. They're just like one's a banker and one's a teacher and one's an auto repair person and they have different names and you don't know. But there's this kid that comes into town, and he thinks that these people are all these storybook characters and they're all trapped in this town for some reason, and everybody thinks, oh, he's just a kid. He doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's trying to convince his mom, who he gets to come with him, whether or not these people are real. So,
Hold on, let me just stop.
well,
Craig.
I gave something away, and I don't want to go back
You
to
didn't
it.
give.
I don't want to go back to because I know I messed up on something, but if I say something, then I'm not gonna.
Well, it's okay to give it away. I mean, people are gonna have to watch it. But
Okay, well.
But it basically starts out before the town. when
Before
they're
the town,
in
yeah.
the fairy tale world, and then the Dark Queen casts a spell. I think Rumpelstiltskin had a hand in that
But
too.
still, when they show that, you don't know if it's related to if it's really happening. You know what I mean? Like you don't know if that was just something they showed you in advance, and if it was really true, or if it was just a fairy tale. You know what I mean?
Well, because it is a fairy tale world, but that's where it started. That a spell was cast, so the queen can get the son of Snow White, and that was that boy. No, wrong.
See, you're wrong.
The daughter.
We're getting way too deep into
Yeah,
that. Right
Dang
now.
it!
Yeah.
Okay, but
I'm completely lost,
basically,
but also
no
I know
matter
the whole synopsis.
I mean, no
so.
matter what they show you at the beginning of the thing, the whole plot in the beginning is to make you really rack your mind, because it's almost
is
like
kinda.
you know how Lost does the flashbacks for each character. Well, this does the same thing, but these characters are fairy tale characters in their flashes. So it's like, it'll follow the teacher, and then it'll flash to her, and she's Snow White. And she's doing all this stuff in fairy tale land. Then it goes between the real world story and that story, and you don't really know if it's all in this kid's head, if it's in this book that he has, or if it really is really happening and they're all cursed in this town. So that's kind of the huge mystery of the show from the first season. And it gets much more complicated than that as it moves along.
And people die.
And people do
Good.
die.
Yeah,
And
so it
it's,
is kind of dark.
it's not as dark as Grimm. I mean, it definitely kind of has a subtle dark take on the fairy tale, but it's not. It's Disney and ABC, so I mean, there's only so far they're going to go down that dark territory. But the show is starting its 4th season coming up now, and they just put the 3rd season on Netflix. So all the earlier seasons are there now. You can watch them. You can catch up. Highly recommended. It's a great show from ABC Studios. Once Upon a Time, Netflix. So. That's a good point to end this block right here. And we got one more coming up with our Future Focus segment, so stay with us. Welcome back to Future Focus, our final segment. And we're going to start out with Nick and Mockingjay,
The Hunger Games.
which is the Hunger Games. Yeah,
Mockingjay.
the Hunger
Part
Games.
1.
Part 1.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
because when you got a good franchise going, you want to milk it.
Yes, of course.
You got to get all that
Heck
money.
yeah, man.
All that Mockingjay money. Yeah.
It's true.
So they came out with a teaser for this a little while back, and they just came out with the full trailer, which is, the teaser is only a couple seconds long. This is about 2 minutes. And it's really cool. I know you haven't seen these movies. You said you've seen the first one.
I love the
I'll
first one.
dismiss you from this conversation.
All right.
And we'll talk now.
I love the first one, and Boo to Netflix for sending me a broken DVD. I was gonna watch the one after that one.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to get into all of them, but
Yeah.
the first one was great.
Yeah, the first one's great, and I really like. I'm big into the world building of these types of movies, like just the dystopian world that they put together. They cut to the first scene where they show District 12, and it's just like that line of shacks, and it kind of has that eerie music a little bit, and just shows them really in their plight. And then you move to the Capitol, and it's kind of everybody in their crazy outfits and crazy hair and everything, but you can tell
Their lifestyle
higher
was
class.
so I don't know, man. I think it was the outfits that really
yeah, it's
to
out
go
there.
from disheveled dystopian world to the complete opposite with
Well, I think it was cool
money
because they
and-
made you could connect more with the poverty-stricken characters
Mhm.
because they're actually wearing normal clothes. Like the rich people, it's just like, who are these weird people? And I think they did that was well done because that's how the character sees them. It's like, what is this weird place? Who are these weird people that think they're all great but they look really weird? So that was really cool about the world building. Basically, the story, as far as the story goes, the Hunger Games is this competition that they're randomly selected to be put in. And then the second movie, they bring back people who were in Hunger Games before to be in it, and now this is the beginning of the revolution. So there's the rich capital in the middle, and then there's concentric rings going out, and they get poorer and poorer, and now those poor people are fighting back against the capital. And that's what this is. Really, Katniss, who's the main character, taking up her leadership role that she's been very reluctant to take that role. She was like, I don't want to be this hero, but now she's like, yes, I'm going to fight with you. Like that's kind of how the trailer ends. It's like Katniss, like she's walking through kind of a refugee camp, and it's much worse than even when she lived out in squalor. It's way worse than that. This is the District 13, where the revolution is building, and it's kind of this refugee camp, and she's walking through the middle of it, and this one kid comes up, and he's like, Katniss, are you going to fight with us? And she's like, yeah, I'm going to fight. So it's like, hell yeah. This is when the war starts, so you expect both factions to go at it hard. And
Now, is this how many movies does this make?
this is the third.
The third
So
one,
I think
okay.
there's going to be 4.
based on the books.
Right, so that's kind of what they did with Harry Potter movies. Like, I wasn't really into that, but they split up that last one so that they could tell, so that they get more ticket money, but also so that they can tell that 2-part story and really build that whole story. I mean, it's a book, so they're cutting all the boring stuff out, that books all have. That's why it's always better to see the movie instead of reading the book, because they cut all the boring stuff out and just make the good stuff into the movie. But definitely, check it out. You should watch the second one and then go see this one.
Definitely going to put it back on my queue because
And, especially
I just want to see what happens next.
with, having a daughter, and this is a very strong female protagonist in this. I think it's a good role model. You could start pinning that Mockingjay on her.
Oh, I got plans. As soon as she can understand them, then I'll be all over that.
This is something I'm really excited
I don't know
about.
if I want to understand this.
Better Call Saul. You know what it is, don't you?
Yeah, spinoff from
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. I think
Breaking
I mentioned
Bad
that
spinoff.
in episode 3. I think
Yes,
it was.
you did talk about that.
So any new developments as to its release or?
Well, we do have a release date, which is it's in February of
Ah.
2015. Now that they're
Okay.
aiming to have it. What's wrong
This
over
guy was
there?
in The Office. When Pam goes to
Oh, he's been in a lot of things. I mean, he's pretty popular.
But that's where
Like,
I'd most recently seen him.
Before
it's
Breaking
Bob
Bad, he was-
Odenkirk, I think is his name.
Before Breaking Bad, he was that guy who was in that thing.
Yeah, he was another one of those guys that was in that.
Related to Thor or something? Bob Odenkirk?
Kirk, I think is his last name. But yeah, it's a spinoff from Breaking Bad. If you haven't seen Breaking Bad, Saul Goodman was Bryan Cranston.
Seen Breaking Bad?
I know. Nick really needs to get on the Breaking Bad bus. That is the equivalent of me not seeing some of the movies I haven't seen. You haven't seen Breaking Bad.
I only have the one thing.
Yeah, but it's an entire TV series, too, so it's a little tougher.
Oh my gosh! So. Just start now, tonight.
I need to.
And you got to give it more than just the first season, you know.
Yeah, I've watched some of it, but I need to just dive.
The second season is when they really start telling a story that you're kind of just amazed by. I mean, in the second, we're going on to Breaking Bad now. Let's not go on to Breaking Bad.
Especially because you're probably spoil.
Yeah. So
what's the premise?
Saul was the Bryan Cranston's character's lawyer. He was the people's lawyer. He was known as like the crooked lawyer, like because he had all these TV ads and he was this quirky lawyer, but he dealt with all these illegal clients. Like he had all these clients and he could get anybody out of anything for the most part. So and he was actually like the comic relief for Breaking Bad. He would kind of come in when the situation was really tense, and he'd make stupid jokes and really weird quips and one-liners with the characters that were threatening his life, had a gun up to his head, and he's like joking with them, because that was his character. And he's big enough that I think, they're saying, well, we can really hold a new series on him. And what they're going to do is they're going to go back in time to, I think the year is 2002, which is going to be several years before the incidents of Breaking Bad, before he even met Walter White. And they're going to tell the story of how this guy went from being this regular la-la lawyer to the crooked criminal lawyer that he ended up being in Breaking Bad. And they keep saying that along the way they're going to end up telling stories from the Breaking Bad time period. So, of course, there's that chance that you're going to see Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul reprise their Breaking Bad roles in it at some point, which probably maybe would be in the first season, most likely, if they want to get really good ratings. So,
I'm wondering how far that journey is, because inherently all attorneys are crooked and evil people.
Not like this one.
So
you have to really watch this one. He's just a character. He plays the guy so good, and it's just like he's crazy. He's just a crazy guy. But I definitely think that just seeing him once or twice on Breaking Bad, I'd wanted to see this, and we got to wait till February. And so far, the only thing they've released is like a little small 10-second clip.
I've always wondered, since he's dealt with people like, who he dealt with in Breaking Bad, who else is he dealing with?
Oh, and that's another part. That's why they're saying they're going to explore more of the story, because really he was a side character, so you didn't get his full story in the show, even when his character was a part of it. I
think it'd be cool if they wanted, instead of just saying, okay, here's this character, let's just go straight from that. It'd be cool if it was kind of a dark comedy.
It is supposed to be like that. It's not going to be an all-drama series. It's supposed to be it is going to be drama-based, and the thing I think that's going to make it really cool is the same creator and the same crew, even the camera crew, even the people working on the crew itself are doing Better Call Saul that did Breaking Bad. So cinematography, it's going to have that same look with the time lapses as the transitions and the deserty look to it because they're filming it in the same place. So, it's going to have that Breaking Bad feel to it. It's going to be part of that world, and so I think it'll probably have a chance of being pretty good. I'm looking forward to it. How about you?
I am. I'd definitely check it out.
And when Nick watches Breaking Bad, he'll be looking forward.
I can watch this first.
Yeah, well, you can.
No, you can, but I'd watch Breaking Bad first. Go ahead and watch Breaking Bad first.
All right.
So moving on from that, Big Hero 6. This goofy-looking thing right here. I'm trying to figure out what that is.
Well, in the trailer, watch the trailer. It's basically a robot built by this genius kid. It's like an inflatable robot. You just had to see the movie. It's really cool. It's like this fat, blow up, robot who's really, really smart.
Struggling over there.
So he's dying over here.
Nick!
I'm not doing anything.
You're laughing.
Anyways, the trailer gives you a pretty good idea of where it's starting. It's a group of kids, mainly this one kid who's this just genius. He can build robots. He's like a prodigy basically, and he's built his friend robot right here, and encounters this criminal who wears a kabuki mask and uses telepathy to control these micro robots, and they're attacking this kind of like a Tokyo/San Francisco town, and he tried to report the attack or the sighting of this kabuki-wearing evil guy to the police, and he's getting all this frustration and trying to file a report and all this stuff, but then he just realized, I just need to handle this by myself. So he puts together his whole band of friends. It's all based on a comic book, but I'm just gonna send the trailer on. You need to see the trailer. It's really good.
I downloaded it, but I didn't watch it yet.
It is really.
It's
It's
real
really.
funny.
There's
I was struggling
a great
today.
adventure, and it's really funny, and it is a Disney movie, so it's gonna have that kind of charm and just the look of it looks really.
This is
pretty
computer
awesome, so-
animated, right?
Yeah.
This is-
Yeah.
Okay. Another one. of those.
So the big robot is kind of the big dumb character, and
He's
I
not
guess
dumb. He's like simple.
he's
you
just
Learning.
ignorant. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he just doesn't know. And I guess he's kind of got like an air pump inside him that like keeps himself inflated. And he gets a bunch of holes in his arm, and
That's when he was they're trying to report the
Yeah.
Kabuki guy.
yeah. So he's at
And
the office, and he keeps blowing it up, and it's like. Because it's like coming out one small hole, and he sees this little tape thing, and he grabs a little piece of tape, and he's like, beep, and then puts the tape over. There's another
While
one
the
going.
boy is trying to
Yeah.
tell the story about the attack and all
Yeah.
that, and he's just like, you see him grabbing some tape. And
Yeah.
So when does this
hilarious.
hit theaters?
I think it's like
This holiday?
very soon, November. I think it's November 8th. I might be wrong, but I know it's November.
Well, we had it on the bottom of the screen throughout anyway, so
Oh,
I just thought I'd throw you under the bus
fun little-
anyways.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean this one, I don't know. I don't really look for movies like this, but it looks like it could be funny.
I think
Could
so.
be kind of cool.
Absolutely. I mean, it's Disney, so 60-40
Disney.
chance is going to be
Well,
all
if I
right.
watch Once Upon a Time, I guess I can watch that, right?
Yeah, definitely. But what young boy, doesn't want a robot? And think about it, you can relive that. I wanted a robot when I was a kid, didn't you?
Especially an inflatable one.
I knew it was
Wow.
going in that direction. Might as well steer it that way.
Well,
And now let's steer it
Way
way
to go, Nick.
away from that and go on to our social media teas. And Nick, you want to tell people where they can find us?
Yeah, so everything's behind the box TV. So you can pretty much just, this is our 9th episode now, so you can pretty much just Google it. We're all over the place. Just
Yeah.
Google Behind the Box, or if it helps if you put Behind the Box TV, that narrows it down a little bit more. But on Twitter, we're at Behind the Box TV, behindtheboxtv@gmail.com, on Facebook.com.
And Twitter
/
sphere.
Twitter sphere.
You know, we've been waiting to shoot this show for like how long today?
Yeah,
we
yeah,
are all
sorry.
punchy today, so
Yeah, they were- they
it's like
waited for a
watching a long blooper reel for the most
Yeah,
part.
this will
We're
be a
eating
good one.
pizza, drinking coconut water, or not coconut, cucumber
It was
water.
cucumber water.
I don't know what you guys were doing before I got here. I'm just glad I wasn't here.
We're napping,
And we'd also like to do our special thanks to Jay Burgess
Yep, for that
Production
awesome
Warehouse.
cucumber water.
Yes, for the cucumber water to go with the pizza.
No,
and,
well,
and for Donald Smith, Lucky Dog Television Productions, for giving us the equipment to
Yeah.
do this with. So that's pretty much going to do it for this edition of Behind the Box. We'll see you on our next episode, the 10th. So stay with